It's time to talk about the Kandao and its QooCam 3, because this camera, dual fisheye lenses, this camera just launched a few days ago with stunning spec sheet and great imaging quality performance. As you guys might have noticed, I am quite experienced with the QooCam and the QooCam 8K. So to get my hands on this camera, for me, is as easy as pie. But for those of you guys not familiar with camera, I would like to make an in-depth review video for this camera in September 2023 to deliver or give you a basic impression and an overview about the QooCam 3. So I'm gonna divide this video into different sections, and I would first start with my conclusion on the Kandao QooCam 3. Well, first let's talk about my conclusion on the Kandao QooCam 3. You know, the price point for this camera is $349 US, and the QooCam 3 is the best 360 camera at its price point in September 2023, and it's still evolving really fast, and it's going to be catching up with a lot of great new features in the future. So coming next in this video, I will share with you some basic methodology behind this camera, from unboxing, interface, the app, the workflow, the real-world sample shooting, and a little bit behind-the-scenes video for you guys. I mean, from this form factor, the QooCam 3 shares a similar form factor with the GoPro Max. It's an offset optical lens structure and delivers a large aperture, a large image sensor compared with Insta360 and the GoPro, and capture equivalent like compared with a 1-inch sensor on the 1RS or the CD1. Then it is capable to capture 11K photo and DNG, and also capture with auto exposure bracket and the burst shooting technology with DNG8 and the famous RAW Plus technology that to overcome the artifacts of the optical lens design and the sensor technology. I suppose that in the near future, this camera going to be a bomber in the 360 camera industry. Let's take a brief look at the box, the package, the design of the brand new Kandao QooCam 3, a 360 action cam designed by Kandao. It delivers great exciting new features inside the package. This package looks quite similar like the DJI Action 2 or Action 3. And yes, on the side, some killer features about this camera. It's QooCam 3 equipped with a dual 1/1.55 inch sensors. It's much larger compared with Axis 3. At the same time, it equipped with fast aperture at f1.6. So the combination of this f1.6 and the 1/1.55 inch image sensor that delivers equivalent light sensitivity. This Kandao QooCam 3 could capture almost the same amount of light, just like the dual 1-inch sensor. The QooCam 3 is capable to deliver 5.7K video, and also it is capable to capture 4K 60 FPS with slow motion effect at great video quality. Also equipped with SuperSteady and is waterproof up to 10 meters. Well, if you perform full sensor readout from this dual 1/1.5 inch sensors, you get 62 megapixels in RAW. In RAW and even in DNG8. So to speak, with such large image sensor and fast aperture, this camera could capture premium quality even in an ultra low light situation. Jams-packed 4 channels 360 ambisonic microphones that dramatically improve the audio quality on the QooCam 3. So this is another exciting features for this camera as well. On the other side, you can see some of the scenarios: surfing, cycling, ski, and selfie vlog with this camera. Well, on the back, you can see what's inside the package: the camera, the battery, the cable, the lens case, and the lens cap. The lens cap has a QooCam logo on the top. Well, if you open that, you can see see to believe. And this is a scan this QR code, you get the quick start, quick menu of this camera, and you can also download the QooCam app, user manuals, and get your hands on this camera. This is a camera, and this is the accessories that come inside this camera. Well, let's take a look at inside the package. A battery, a cable, a lens cloth, and some other stuff. Lens cloth, cable, a battery that I already inserted into my camera, and this quick start guide, and some safety guidelines. Cool, this is a quick start guide, warranty card, safety guidelines. Just want to share with you some spec sheet about this camera. On this, the QooCam 3, the model name QooCam 0301, and it supports the operating voltage of 5 volts 2 amps, equipped with 1600 mAh lithium battery, and also it works at 2.4 GHz and 5.25 GHz. It also supports the Bluetooth, the 2.4 and 5 GHz at different transmission power. This QooCam 3 reaches the maximum transmission power at 2.4 GHz at 15 decibel meters. I've been waiting for this camera for quite a long time. Just can't wait to share with you everything that I have acquired with this camera. Well, it looks like this QooCam 3 has similar size and shape, just like the GoPro Max 2. Well, the two individual silicone rubber lens protector. Now, this is an offset optical system, the front and back. So there's no twin folded optical design inside this camera. The two individual lens with the offset arrangement for this camera. This structure, the mechanical structure, could sustain long-term recording without overheat. Shutter button, mode button, long press. You can power on this camera. Well, around this camera, it feels like a silicone rubber. It's shockproof. It's waterproof as well. On the bottom, you get a 1/4" melt thread hole built right on the bottom of this camera. And the side doors, you get this battery, the micro SD card slot. On the other side, you get 4 different microphones. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. Yes, you get all 4 channels ambisonic sound. It's a speaker. This is a touch screen. Well, it's touch screen. You can definitely change settings. Also a quick button, switch back, front, rear lenses, and the live preview is buttery smooth. Take a look. You can change whatever you want. Okay, next up, I just want to give you a quick walkthrough on the menu system and user interface that you can experience with the camera. At this moment, I have the firmware about this. Take a look. I have firmware 1.0.23.1. So when you are watching this video, you have probably upgraded to a better firmware. So you probably have some minor differences in between your interface and mine while I'm recording this video, because I am on the lower version of the firmware. But never mind. And you can see, you can switch back to the front and rear lenses. It's buttery smooth, it's fast. And on the top you can see the remain capacity, remain battery, and shooting mode, timer. I'm now in photo mode. So in the photo mode, I can change the timers 2 seconds all the way up to 10 seconds. And scroll from right to left. You can change the settings. You can change auto exposure, manual exposure, and this QooCam 3 support long exposure up to 60 seconds. This is definitely great. Auto, you can change the exposure compensation from minus 2.0 up to plus 2.0. Normally speaking, I would love to put at the default 0, and you can change the white balance. You can change the specific the temperature of your ambient environment, and you also switch back to the auto white balance. And you can also change in between the mode, JPEG or JPEG plus RAW. To get the maximum premium quality, I highly recommend you always switch in between the JPEG plus RAW. This is what you can get. If you scroll from bottom to top, you switch back to timer, top to bottom, the menu, left to right, you get to see the media files, the galleries. Yes, this is the photo mode. Well, take a look. If you scroll down, tap this button on the bottom left, you can switch back with the time lapse, video, photo, DNG8, interval, and auto explorer bracket. Well, this is the first time that Kandao engineer finally delivered the auto explorer bracket, which I've been dreaming about this shooting mode for years. Well, take a look. Time lapse. They generate time lapse video directly inside the camera. Well, 5.7K or 4K with different interval times. So 1 second, okay, all the way up to 60 seconds, 5.7K. This delivers the time-lapse video directly inside the camera. And yes, this is a time lapse. On the other side, you can switch back in interval to capture the photos in RAW plus JPEG at specific interval times. Well, for video, this is a classic shooting mode for this camera. Well, you get this 5.7K the maximum 30 fps, 4K 60, 4K 30, 3 different options. But I do hope in the future the QooCam 3 could probably support 5.7K 25, 24, or some drop frames, to make this camera look more professional. And 4K 50, 4K 60, 4K 30, 4K 25, and even slow motion effect. 1080 or 2K at probably 120 fps. I've been dreaming about this. And you also get some manual settings exactly like you have on the photo mode. I was famous for the DNG8 shooting mode back in the first generation of QooCam. The 4K resolution, if you carefully shot with DNG8, you get premium quality, you get DLSR imaging quality from the smart image sensors. Also timers. So this is what I love. There's a secret weapon designed by Kandao engineer is the Kandao RAW Plus. RAW Plus is a stacking software to greatly improve image quality without ghost effect, with the ghosting algorithm. So you definitely should give it a try. And I have delivers my personal in-depth review for the DNG8 years ago. And I will also share with you some key ideas behind the DNG8 in my future review video about this camera. Interval times, it looks like just time lapse, but it captures photos instead of videos. And always for the bracket, this is what I love about this. You get different numbers. You can see 3 numbers all the way up to 9 shot in bracket, 7 shot in bracket. To capture up to 5 shot bracket from -2 to +2. And if you capture at 9 shot in bracket, you can capture from -2.7 all the way up to +2.7. And you can stack and merge in post to get the best performance from this camera. This is a basic shooting mode from the interval time lapse to photo and video. Well, if you scroll from top to bottom, you get to see some menu. You can change the brightness. You can locks orientation, because if you don't lock orientation, if it automatically, you can see it automatically switches orientation for your to make it more intuitive. This is something that's also a secret great feature. But if you lock orientation, rotate, it will not rotate with you, and you can lock the screen. And yes, you can change the speaker volume, and you can also tap to turn on or turn off the indication light. I normally turn off at settings. You can see a lot of settings, the Bluetooth, the wireless. It looks pretty similar with the Sony cameras. You can set auto record time. I always set it high for the longest continuous recording time. And the Q function could be set to lock screen capture, playback settings, and switch to shooting mode. For me, I would love to set to settings, or switching shooting mode to settings. When I tap the Q button, this is a shortcut for my menu system. And anti-flicker, you can set to 50 Hz or 60 Hz. So this is a quick walkthrough on this Kandao QooCam 3. So coming next, I just want to share with you some exciting photo video being captured with the camera, try to show you exactly the power about this QooCam 3, which I've been dreaming about this camera for years, and I finally have this, and I just can't wait to share with you. Let's go to the next part. Here's a basic workflow for me to get this video footage out from this camera. I mean, you can see I use QooCam Studio, the latest edition, and drag and drop these video clips into the QooCam Studio. I mean, at this moment, the loading time is way too long. I mean, loading speed need to be better in the future. But anyway, after loading all this video footage, as you can see, you have different options. Here you can see you can select different footage, and you can play back in real time, add grid lines for your reference, and use your mouse drag and drop to change the raw, pitch and raw angle, and you can even change different projection, rectilinear, equirectangular, and you can also manually set the different angles of yaw, pitch, and roll. To finalize, to optimize your videos by yourself. You even have different stabilization options: horizon steady, view log steady, and you can perform defringe, color correction, use optical flow. There's also a reframe adjustment. You can add keyframes to set the starting point, end point, change the projections, the field of view, the radius, every settings, add key points, and reframe directly from the Studio software. So to speak, the Studio software is not just a stitcher and a stabilization program for the QooCam 3, but it's also a really powerful reframes tool for you to reproject, to generate your ideal real footage from these key points and export at the maximum quality. And coming next, just want to share with you my screen capture on my phone to give you a quick walkthrough, a deep dive into the mobile experience about this camera. And I believe the engineer behind Canon really learned something great from this industry, from other manufacturers that put them together into the brand new QooCam 3 app. Okay, first you need to power on your QooCam 3. Just long press, and your camera will immediately power on by itself. And this time, the first page, you see some smart clip. It looks like it's a template. It just works similar as a flash cut on the Insta360 cameras. You can see an album. You can see some photos and videos that you can play back within your app. You can cycle through the camera album, the app album. Well, you can figure out your content in the app album even if you are not connecting with the camera. Next up is the new camera connection interface that's been greatly improved from its predecessor. Now you can turn on the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi at the same time that wirelessly transfer the password via Wi-Fi, via Bluetooth protocol, and reconnect with the Wi-Fi. The connection experience has never been so fluid. Well, you can see I have already figured out my camera and it's connectable. I can also tap. The camera is powered on. You can also tap and turn on the Bluetooth. Search your cameras nearby. Wi-Fi connect your hotspot. Take a look and join this network automatically for you. So to connect with the QooCam 3, you can either manually input the software, the password, or you can directly use Bluetooth or use a QR code. You have different options that quickly get connected with your camera. Set different resolution in the video option. The video 5.7K, 4K, and in the 4K resolution you get two different options, 30 or 60 FPS for battery smooth playback experience. Well, to get the most of this camera, I normally set to 5.7K to 30 FPS. But unlucky enough, you don't have more options. You don't have other frame rate options like 24, 25, 24 drop frames. I do hope you can add this frame rate later in the future firmware upgrade. And you can set the white balance exactly like you have on your camera interface. There's auto, or you can customize. It is a flow chart of the white balance. Well, in the settings menu, you can choose different anti-flicker, add grid lines, add histogram, dual graphical tagging, and your camera sound. Let me switch back into different orientation, outspot recording, firmware, indicator light, everything that you have on your touchscreen. Now you can also control all these functions in the app as well. And I believe that the auto balance gives me a great experience overall. Let's turn the camera, take a look. Let's turn the camera, and you can see it's I mean, the live preview got a pretty long delay. I don't know the reason. I do hope they can fix this problem in the future. You can see remain battery life, histogram, remain capacity in your microSD card, and you can change into different angles. This is a little planet. It's a little planet. It's planet. Rectangular reframe shape. Okay, next one is you can play back. There's a gallery menu. You can play back in the system, and either in photo or video. Yes, I have a lot of options. You can see, and tap this and once again go back into the live preview sessions. This is something that you get from this video option, but for photo, yes, you can change these options as well. You can change these options to JPEG, RAW. There's something must be wrong with this app. JPEG and JPEG plus RAW. Next one, you can hit a timer, the selfie timer, and manual exposure, auto exposure. For auto, you always set the exposure compensation. For manual, change the ISO. You can choose ISO all the way down to 100 and all the way up to 6400. They give you a great low light performance, even with little light. It's very noisy, but you can actually capture something in really low light situation. And for me, that I normally, the longest exposure time is 60 seconds. That is great enough to capture starry night star trails. And this is all the settings. You can customize the shooting options. Well, you can definitely add time lapse and turbo, all the shooting mode into the home screen and save. So literally you can customize your settings, the time lapse, the interval, and yes. And this interface has been redesigned. And the settings, you can see the camera info, the versions, the serial numbers, the activation status, the gyro calibration, firmware upgrade, and as exporting settings that you can eliminate some stitching color differences, and you have different options: stabilization, horizon lock stabilization, and a free view. For me, I always use horizon lock, but now it's unluckily enough you have to download this video footage into your phone and re-edit on the go. Okay, you can see the download successfully and all playback is now. This is not a great experience, I have to say, but it just worked. Confirm that you can play back in the menu system, that you can get to see this. Just like you can make some rough edit on the go and export into your phone internal memory. This is when you can restore all the settings to default, share to your other platforms, and you can zoom, you can rotate. Use two fingers that can rotate. Use two fingers to rotate, and use zooming gestures like this. Add a key point. Scroll back. Add a key point. And I can even change the projection on the go to change to little planets. Add a key point. And add some speed up options. Speed up. Different aspect ratios. 16:9 for online. Add a key point. And some filters. There's some filters. Use the tasty, romantic, dark, aspect ratio. You can tap to change 4:6:4, 16:9, vertical orientation. This filter really gives me a moody looking. Add some beauty effects to your face. We really care about your overall looking, just like me, that always turn it on. And directly share, that you can export to an album. This is something I will probably use by default, because I'm flat video or 360 video, and hit on export. After a little while, add 4K flat video to my internal memory, and I can finally play back and enjoy of the sessions. When you wireless connect with your QooCam 3 app, you're not able to control this camera anymore, unless you just shut down the sequence on the back, or just turn off the wireless connection, and later you gain the access to your camera. And I believe that Kandao really have to finalize this app to make this app more appealing, more friendly to the normal customers. I just want to share with you some behind the scenes capture with the QooCam 3. And the video and audio you're hearing at this moment are being captured with this camera. 4-channel episodic sound, 5.7K video, full sensor readout from large aperture and large image sensor inside this camera. So as you might have noticed, it's quite beautiful around me, the trees, and you can see a lot of great fruit that have been falling off from the tree at night. I'm going to capture 360 content that a lot of point of interest, and to capture 360 content as a behind the scenes video that literally help your audience to grasp every detail around your camera. And I try to show you how to decide the best point of view and put your camera in the best point of view to deliver the content as immersive as possible. QooCam 3 is a great camera for your action scenarios. This delivers great quality, great SuperSteady stabilization, great audio quality, but it's also an ideal camera for daily vlog. As I'm literally using this camera to capture some daily content, vlogging myself behind the scenes. And you can just reframe in the post-production to get the best field of view. There's something that you can only get with 360 cameras. No other cameras could come even close. In the previous section, I already shared with you a lot of great content. It delivers a step-by-step tutorial, some real-world sample footage, and some basic tutorials on the QooCam 3. But at the end of this video, I just want to share with you something that literally could help this product team to make a better product in the future, aka that what I hate on QooCam 3 in September 2023. My personal investigation on this camera, I think there's something that's still absent on this camera. So now let's talk about the walkthrough what I hate on the QooCam 3 one by one. So number one, in the DNG8 burst capture shooting mode, the only resolution is 5.7K. So 11K is absent in the DNG8 shot. I mean this camera has made something like a compromise in between the data and the burst capture rate. I do hope in the future that I want 11K in DNG8. Number two, that it's auto bracket shooting mode. In auto bracket shooting mode, the options is quite limited. You know, when you capture in 9-shot bracket, the only option for bracket step is 0.3 EV step. So to speak, by burst capture 9 different exposure at 0.3 bracket, you get a dynamic range from plus 2.7 EV to minus 2.7 EV. It's quite limited. And the auto explorer bracket should add 2 more features. Number one is 11K resolution. Number two is the ISO lock. I mean, I really want to lock the ISO to the 100 to capture auto explorer bracket stack merge to get the best possible quality from this camera. This is some professional photographers have mastered years ago, and they have been captured commercial shooting with this methodology. And number 3 is the limitation on the frame rate options at 5.7K. At this point of view, we only have 5.7K 30 FPS. The 24, 25, or 24 drop frames, all these options are still absent. Now this is a limitation for professional shooters to use this camera as industry standard. When you play back on a touch screen on the QooCam 3, there's no real-time SuperSteady, so to speak. The review experience is not as good as Insta360, and this can be fixed in the future by firmware upgrade. You guys know that I am a Mac OS user. I've just switched my laptop to the M2 Max, and at this moment, the Kandao RAW Plus is still not compatible on the latest Mac OS with Apple Silicon. That is quite a limitation for me, especially I am very experienced with the DNG8 methodology. Maybe in the future, they could put the RAW Plus back into the QooCam 3 once again, just like they have been accomplished in the QooCam 8K, that deliver the stacking inside the camera, that deliver the 60-bit DNG high-quality RAW format for post-production. And considering the Kandao QooCam 3 shares offset optical system, sometimes for close-up shots, the stitching quality is not as good as the twin-folded optic system. I do hope in the future they can add different stitching options that to treat the near object, the far subject differently with different stitching parameters that literally improve the overall stitching quality for the QooCam 3. Single lens shooting mode is still absent on the QooCam 3. That is quite limitation for a daily vlog shooting. I wish I have a single lens shooting so I can use a giant screen, rear lens, directly capture content with in-camera SuperSteady, and I can put it in my post-production as quick as possible. And the QooCam Studio can be better in the future. Especially on the Apple Silicon platform. I wish that the Studio software can take the fully advantage of the hardware acceleration, dramatically improve the speed, the overall experience on our desktop workflow. And this must be done in the future because the whole industry is catching up with a fast, fluid experience. Well, I think the battery performance can be optimized in the future for more sturdy and much better battery life. At this September 2023, I think the battery performance is great, but it can be better in the future because the Kandao has implemented a 1700 milliamp lithium battery inside its camera. That is a basic recap and my personal in-depth overview on the Kandao QooCam 3. I do hope you can learn something from this video and get your hands on the Kandao QooCam 3 as quickly as possible. I still want the Kandao engineers to fix the problems, add more exciting features to finalize this camera that to make the ultimate QooCam 3 to the market that help me to deliver much better content in the future. And last but not least, just want to give my personal shout out for the Kandao company. They are still investigating designing the consumer level 360 camera to the market. We have more options, the better performance at a better price point. And in the future, I will share with you even more about the experience, the content that I can capture with the QooCam 3 and talk to you soon. See you next time. Bye.